it's 11. So hello everyone, welcome to Labster. This Labster webinar today will be covering the Blackboard integration and how to add Labster simulations into your Blackboard courses. If you have any questions at any time of this call, feel free to drop them in the chat box in the GoToMeeting. So the agenda for today's webinar will be as follows. First, I'll be giving an overview of the integration process and what to expect from start to finish on the whole integration timeline. Next, I'll be doing a Blackboard simulation upload demonstration, showing you how to add your chosen simulations into Blackboard. And then I'll go over the Labster support, giving an overview on how you and your students can reach out to our support team for any technical issues or questions about the simulation. After that, I'll be going over some best practices that will best support our simulations. And lastly, I'll be taking any questions or concerns you might have. Okay, so to get started, I want to show you what to expect in the implementation process once the order form is received. The implementation manager will set up the integration that you will be connecting with your Blackboard. You'll be working with implementation in the beginning, so you'll be assigned to one that will first reach out to you either through email or by call. And then the third step is you will receive instructions on how to download your chosen simulation from our faculty resource page. And lastly, you will upload the downloaded file of your chosen simulations into your Blackboard using our step-by-step guide. And then once the implementation is complete, you will be introduced to your customer success manager, who will then be your main point of contact throughout the semester. They're here to help you adapt Labster as a tool in your courses. So here's a quick snapshot of the Labster implementation team. These are all our wonderful implementation manager. You will be working with one of these implementation managers throughout your onboarding process, and they are here to help get you up and running in your Blackboard. Okay. So your implementation manager will contact your Blackboard administrator to initiate the integration. They will receive the keys to plug into in their end, and it will connect it all. So once this is complete, you'll be able to add simulations into your Blackboard course shell. So here's a little animation for you to see. That's how it works. And then after the integration is completed, your implementation manager will provide you with a link to our faculty resource page where you can download the simulations in the forms of zip files. I highly recommend when you receive this link from your implementation manager, you should bookmark it for easy access for the future use. I will also be demoing this process in just a few minutes. So after you know which simulations you want to download, and you will take the downloaded zip file and you'll upload it into Blackboard course shell. It's a series of process. I will also be going over it in the demo later. And then here, you will need to update some of the settings of each of the simulations in order to enable grades to sync to your Blackboard. This will also be shown in the demo. Okay, and after the process is completed, like I said earlier, you will be working with your main point of contact throughout the school year, as they're here to help you. I'm going to go into a demonstration right now and walk you through how to upload the simulations into Blackboard. This is the faculty resource page I was talking about earlier. I like to call this your one-stop shop for everything, from picking simulations, locating resources, and downloading and uploading simulations to your Blackboard course shell. Everything will be done through here, and you see it's divided into 5 different tabs. The first tab is new. This is basically like a quick newsletter that shows what is new in Labster. As you can see, we have recently launched 20 new simulations. We have some new full-length simulations as well as short-form simulations, new science images, animations, and also some more translated and accessible simulations. So you can treat this page as a newsletter you can always refer back to here to see what is new in Labster. And then the second tab is the Getting Started tab. This just breaks it into 4 steps of what you need to do here. I won't go into too details right now since I'll be going it right here, but you can always reference back to this section right here. So the simulations tab, prior to assigning simulations here, you can browse, review over 200 plus simulations, and all of these simulations are organized by topics and categories. You can select a package that best fits into your course, maybe like general biology, if you're teaching general biology 1 and 2. When you click into it, you'll see it opens up another box where it has all the course simulations on the top and all the related simulations on the bottom. You can also download a PDF summary, and it also gives you a whole course overview. Scroll down, once again, you see the course simulations and related simulation all in one look. And then if you scroll down a little more, each simulation will have the learning objectives for it. So this is also another great resource for you to take a look at as well. Once you know which, you see something you're interested in, you can just click into the simulation itself, and it's going to launch you to another tab with all the resources tied to this one simulation. So you see the simulation things on the top, and then on the left, you can watch a whole playthrough screencast version of the simulation. This is done by someone from Labster. And then, so this is a great resource to have if you don't have all the time in the world to play the simulation from start to finish. But in the resource panel, you also have an option to play the simulation yourself. Let me just exit it. And then down here, we have some lab supplements for you. These are all optional tools that you don't have to use it, but it's great. I'll go through each one of them briefly. So for each simulation, we provide you with a lab manual. And what the lab manual includes is usually a synopsis, some learning objectives, some techniques that was used in the labs, some theories, and any figures, graphs, or charts will also be available in the lab manual. This is a great resource to provide students before, during, or even after when they play the simulation. And this is through Google Docs, so it's made easy to share with students. You can enter the links, the email, or you can copy the links and just paste it into your Blackboard or wherever you want to share it. You can also download it in a Word doc, and you can also edit the formatting of this as well. And then we have a lab report. This lab report is just a template. It's the same throughout all the simulations. If you want students to write a lab report and you see that this template fits what you're looking for, feel free to use it. It's totally optional. And again, this is through Google Doc, made easy to share with students and editable. And then we provide you 2 parts of the quiz questions. So Labster grades students based off on how well students answer the quiz questions throughout the simulations. They will have a lab pad, and it's going to ask them a series of quiz questions. And students will not be able to bypass the quiz questions. They're all embedded in. So we provide you with an answer key for your reference to look back into. It's just a PDF, and it has a list of all the quiz questions as well as the respected answers. And we also provide you with a blank version if you want to retest the student's knowledge. Once again, you can provide a blank version as well. And then we have a theory page. The theory page just basically goes over some of the background information in the simulation. You can refer back to it. And if we scroll down here, we have an outline of the simulation. And then we have some related simulations as well. If you want to take a look at what kind of related simulations of this simulation, it's also will be down here. And on the right, you'll see the techniques that was used in the lab, some learning objectives, and then some simulations features, like how long the simulation is, what languages are available in, and some related standard that you might want to take in consideration. And if you scroll down a little, here are some screenshots of the simulation. So this is how you'll be exploring the different simulations we have and like all the materials that we offer. Let me see if there's any questions so far. Okay, no questions so far. Right. A couple more things above here that you have access to as well. The first one is a lab manual and report. This is just quick copy links if you just want to, if you know which one you want and you don't want to go through that process of like going into each category and searching it up like that way. You can always copy quick links from here. We also have a library of animated videos. These are quick little YouTube videos. If you want students to watch these videos, feel free to share it with them. You can also incorporate into your teaching. And then we have a library of science images. These are images extracted from Labster simulations. You can copy and download these these images and include it into your teaching materials. So it's also another resource for you. And then we have some short forms uh, list of short form simulations. These are all like 5 to 20 minutes. If you just want to see what kind of short form simulations we have offering, you can take a look at this page right here. It has all the list of the 5 to 20 minutes simulations. Lastly, we have some translated simulations. This is just a list of all the simulation that has been translated into the different languages we offer. So we have Spanish, German, French, Italian, and the list will continue to grow each quarter. So that is the simulations tab. And then moving on to the teacher resources, you can visit here to browse through some of the resources we have put together for you to reference to. We have some product informations and like videos of like what is Labster, some new product information that you can sign up for, some guides to virtual labs and all that. I'm not going to go too details with this since I want to make sure we have some time for questions. And then we have some implementation accesses, introducing Labster to students. I do like to show this to teachers. This is a great little guide to how to introduce Labster to your students, how to explain how it works, how would students access Labster, as well as like the technical requirements and all that information. So this is a great guide for teachers like you. And then what is Labster for students, as well as all these other informations. And lastly, we have some teaching inspirations that you can also take a look at. These are some researches and case studies that are done in Labster that you might be interested in. So feel free to explore the teacher resources. Okay, and now moving on to how you'll get the simulations into your course. The way you get the simulations into Blackboard is a two-step process. The first step is you'll download a common cartridge file. It's just another name for like zip file. And the second step is to upload the common cartridge file into your Blackboard course shell. To do that, you go into the upload to LMS. You're gonna hit the add simulations to your LMS, and it's gonna pop up a window. Okay, yep. So you see it break it down into like two steps right here. The first step is you choose your simulation. Automatically it's defaulted to the complete course package, which has the 200 plus simulations. You can always filter out by the different categories, or if you know like the keywords, you can search it by keywords as well. And then just simply hit on the plus sign of the title that you want to add the simulation at. You can reformat it any way you want as well. You can also remove it if you accidentally add it. And you can just simply hit download. And then it's going to ask you to choose your LMS, which is Blackboard in your case. And you hit the download common cartridge file. And it's going to download into a little zip file right here, like CC underscore with a bunch of alphabets and numerical characters. And you can always come back and download more if needed. So don't feel like you need to do it all at once. Just download as many as you need right now, and then you can always come back later on. So we're going to take this zip file right now and then upload it into Blackboard. So here is my sandbox. It's just for demo purposes. It might be a little different formatting than yours, but it should have a similar concept. So under course management in your course that you're going to be downloading the simulation at, you're going to go into package and utilities. And when you click on it, it's going to expand to all the options right here. You're going to hit the import package button right here. And then you'll see there's a little button. It's kind of hard to tell, but it is a button called import package. You're going to click into it. And then you'll see where you're going to get the where this simulation is going at, which course ID is it. And then you will click on the browse local files. And then you're going to hit click on the zip file that you just downloaded from the faculty resource page. Hit on OK. And then make sure under select course material, you check off the content areas. This is very important. And then hit submit. And so the action has been queued and an email was sent to you when the process is complete. But once it is completed, it's going to go into a Labster simulation folder automatically, unless like you change the formatting of it. So I do have like a bunch of other simulations I have done for a previous demo, but all the new ones that you just downloaded will always be at the bottom right here. And then the way that gradings works is that whenever you download the simulation, you are going to have to go into each of the caret icon of the simulation. So each simulation icon, like this is a little down caret. You're going to hit edit. So this is a very important step because you will need to enable evaluation for each of the simulations that you have downloaded. This is one of the Blackboard nuances that you have to just do it for each simulation. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of it, but don't worry if you don't remember it. We do have a guide for you in our help.labster.com center that I can show you later on. So here, make sure in the URL, in the enable evaluation, you check off yes. And then for the possible points, just enter how many points you want it to be out of. If you set it up to 20, if a student score 90% in the simulation, the possible point a student will get out of here will be 18 out of 20. Make sure you check out yes for invisible to students. And then you can just optionally add in like a due date, start date and due date. When you scroll down here, the web link option, make sure you check off yes for open in new window. This is key. It's very important that you do this. And then make sure it's also check off yes for permit users to view this content. If you want to check the number of views, it's optional. You can do, these are all optionals, but the ones that I just said, please make sure you do all that in order for the grades to sync over to your gradebook. So once that is enabled, once the student has complete 100% of the simulation, it will go in automatically go into your Blackboard gradebook. And we also provide you with so for each simulation you downloaded, we also provide you with a Labster dashboard. And this Labster dashboard is, I like to just explain it as a secondary tool. It's this additional tool for you as an instructor to go more in-depth details with the student's grade. It has nothing to do with your own Blackboard gradebook. So I'll show you briefly what it looks like. So this is the Labster dashboard. It is has nothing to do with your LMS, the gradebook, okay? Let me exit this. So here, it's when you first enter it, it's going to take you through a series of settings. And these settings, you would just need to like change it in here. The first setting is going to ask you to select the simulations that you want to see. I only recommend you selecting the ones that you're going to use for your course. That way it doesn't create too much noise in your dashboard. And then the second one is you're going to define a completion score threshold, so just to filter out the play, whether you want to see 100% of the simulations should be completed, or if completion percentage does not influence your grading, then you can just select this one. It's just really for you to filter out what you want to see in your own dashboard. And then when you continue, the third step is you're going to define a Labster score threshold. So if you set it up at 70, any student scoring below 70 will show in red for fail, and any student above 70 will show in green for passing. This is more for like visual purposes for you. And then hit continue. Here it's going to ask you which attempt you want to see, whether you only want to see the first attempt or you want to see the best attempt. So the most the student has scored in after multiple play attempts. Continue. So here you'll see it's just one last reminder that these settings are not permanent. You can always come back and change it anytime, and it has nothing to do with your Blackboard gradebook. This is it gets some instructors do get confused about this, but this is just a secondary tool that Labster offers you so that you can just take a more in-depth look at how your students are doing, even though they have not completed 100% of the simulation. You can see all your students right here and track their progresses. So if you expand onto into a student's account just by clicking on it, you can see how many attempts that they have taken, where they are in the completion percentage, how many points they have got so far, and the timestamp that they have completed at. And when you click on it, you can get some attempts details. So you'll be able to see how the student the score they got right now. You'll be able to see all the quiz questions that was presented to the students, and you'll be able to see how well they answered the quiz question. So for this first question, you see the students presented with this quiz question, and he answered incorrectly 2 times, and then the third time he answered correctly. So for each quiz question, it's worth 10 points, and each time they get it wrong, it will deduct by 2 points. So he answered 2 times incorrectly, and then the third time he got it correctly. So the total point that he got for this quiz question is a 6. So that is how grades work here. And then that is how to upload and like view grades. Let me see if there's any questions right now. Looks like there are still no questions. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into the presentation. So here are some best practices of the do's and don'ts. For the do's, Labster is only supported in a laptop or desktop currently. Other devices such as tablets or other smartphones, smart devices is not supported yet, but it is coming in a future development. Oh, sorry, went a little ahead. And then we only support in the Firefox or Google Chrome browser. Other browsers like Safari, Internet Explorer, Edge will not be supported. And then we also recommend when students playing simulations to close out other tabs. That way, just only leaving the laptop tab open, and that way it will help the speed of the loads, and students will tend to run into less error that way. And then also waiting for the simulation to load 100% and not click away when they're loading the simulation. So these are some of the Labster best practices that we highly want students to follow. And then we do have a support team available. It's the help.labster.com. I'm going to show you real quick what that looks like. So this is help.labster.com help center. We have recently updated to be more friendly to navigate. We have different helps for students, help for instructors, and help for others. And if you click into it, we do organize all the articles by the different categories that we think that will be most helpful for you. So you can always reference back to this help.labster.com page. And then we also have a support team that is available for you. You can chat with someone live. We are live from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At any time, if you or your students are running into any issues, you can just hit the send message. And you gotta go through a few automated messages first before you get taken to a live representative. It's a great resource to have. It's also in the simulation when students launches a simulation. So that is right here for you. And yeah, that basically concludes the whole webinar. I want to open up the floor to take any questions. So I'll give it like a minute. Feel free to drop your question in, and I'll just answer it as I go. Okay, let me see. Oh, could you repeat where the link is for our student? The way students will access, I believe you're talking about referring to um, how the students will access the simulations. When they on their end, they can just click directly onto the simulation once you have made it published in front of the students. Be able to click into it and just launch them to the simulation. Any other questions? Well, okay, if there's no other questions, oh, is there a one-time webinar? Is this going to be? There is another webinar for next Tuesday as well, and if you can also reach out to your implementation manager, and they can also share this with you as well. It should be sent out after this call is ended if you want this for review. But there is another webinar for next week and next week for like each Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, you can still join. Just sign up for it. Yep. Well, okay. So if there's no other questions, I will end this webinar. And thank you so much for joining today and attending. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good one.